Hello fellow gardeners, welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to invite you into my garden because we've always had snippets of the garden, and so I decided to invite you. Welcome into my garden. This is Alice, I'm the red soil gardener and I'm from Nairobi, Kenya. Now, I've always been a gardener. I mean, we got it from my mother, and my mother was an amazing gardener, and she actually was the one who taught us propagation, because for so many times when we were teenagers in August, we would go down to the coast, and my mother was so busy getting cuttings in the hotel garden that we used to have to, in a situation, the guards would come and stop her, and it was all about propagation. She'd do her cuttings, take them back to Nairobi and then propagate them. Now, the thing for me, being an active gardener, but I was not that active before, was the COVID pandemic. I was here in my garden, and I really felt that because Nairobi was under lockdown, everywhere you had to go was with masks. We didn't understand the virus. And so a lot of us of our age group actually stayed at home. And for my own mental health, I started slowly getting into small garden patches, working it and propagating plants because I didn't want to go outside. But in the end, that's how I got so passionately involved again into gardening. Now, the thing for me is I just love color. And I think you've seen it in my garden. Everything has to have color. Now, the thing is about gardens, I think we've looked at this garden. I've got my oxalis here, and they're so beautiful. And I've got my hydrangeas happening, and we did that begonia there, and we hung it there, and it's already started flowering with its epiphylium. But the thing is that for me, I don't like structured gardens because I just feel that I want somehow to have spurts of colors happening, drama. So this is who I am. So I believe gardens should evolve on its own. I believe the gardens should be fluid, that we're not so rigid as gardeners, is just let things evolve. And you do get the result, which is a beautiful mixed garden. Now, I just love hanging baskets, and I think we did do an episode on this, and I've grown my impatiens here, or busy lizzies, and this is an old neem tree. I've actually chopped it, but those are the neem leaves. And then if you look behind there, the tree, it's a coral tree, and that's creeper that goes up. That's my vanilla plant. So this area is actually quite special, and behind me I've got my poinsettia, and look how big it is. Now here is my most interesting section of my plant. This originally, the plant, the tree, was actually a loquat tree, and that's a local in Nairobi. It's a loquat fruit which is orange, yellowish in color, very sweet. Lots of people make jam and all this. But what I've done is in between, I've grown my hibiscus, and it's trailing down. And then I have my morning glory tree, which is actually my statement tree because it gets all white at the same time. It's like snow. And then on top of it, I do have a creeper, like a thunbergia in there. But then the beauty about it is that the other day we did trim quite a lot of the foliage, and this is where I have my containers, because I love doing container gardening. So I have here the arum lily. We did an episode. My caladium, look at how big it is, and this is the right spot for it. And I just call this area my tree of life because I have so many things happening in there. Air plants, I have bird nests and everything. And also remember my epiphylium, which was flowering last year. So basically this is my tree of life, and there's so much happening here. Now, this part of my garden is actually quite interesting. And as I said before, is gardens evolve. Now, I've been living here for almost 17 years, and basically there was no garden. And what I gradually did is I grew my angel's trumpets. And this is a beautiful lilac cassia tree, and everything has actually just grown, and I just wanted to grow because I know it doesn't get that much sun. So I have my impatiens, and they're doing pretty well. And I do have my irises, the giant ones here, and they will flower. Now, because I have so many flowers happening at the same time, is I decided to get my beehive. So I have 2 beehives in there, and my bees are today, they're very peaceful. We've actually got honey from one of them. The other hive was molded, but I've got someone looking after it. But this is where my bees are really happy, and I'm really happy too. Now, in every garden you have to have your seating area. Now, basically in the front is, I have this area underneath the umbrella, and I do have lighting there, and I do have a spotlight that lights up my morning glory stroke low-couch tree for the evenings, just to add a bit of drama and atmosphere. Also at the end there, I have a blue light that really shines on that lovely purplish blue Duranta. So in the evening, I always like to have it slightly magical. Now, the other area is where we normally sit when we do our talking about plants, and we call it the Moroccan area because I have all that African fabric and pillows there, and usually that's where I hang out with my girlfriends because it's cozy, it's nice, and that's where we sit and have our evening wine and dinner. The other area I use is here in the front. I get all these safari chairs, camp chairs, and I put it out in a circle and have a pit fire there and use this table just solely for the food. So it's really nice to have the fire burning, and you really get this feeling that you're really in Africa. Now, this is another area of my garden. This is where I have my fishbone cacti and also my lovely geranium. Look at that color, beautiful. And also I do a lot of begonias here. Now, initially when we did do my happy place, when we moved the water tank to the back, all I wanted was salvias because I was so crazy about salvias. So I had orange salvias, I had red salvias, I had different shades of purple. But then somehow I wasn't able to utilize it because it started getting a bit overcrowded, so I chopped everything down and decided to make my little tropical garden. So here is where I have my orchids, my tillandsia and my elephant ear. And then I have the staghorn, which we did an episode on, and I think these are one of the babies. And then I have the other staghorn here. So this is where I also have my tillandsias. I have my canna lilies, and some of my succulents are along here. But what I love to do is hang pictures on the walls. So I do have all these pictures on the wall. It just makes things interesting. And I have my fish from Lamu, which is the coastal area. And these are my shells over the year. And what I do is, if I go in here, this is, again, this is where I have my bird feeder, and there's so many birds that come here. But that is one of my art pieces that I painted, and some of this is, it just makes the place more interesting. I love these small little alleys, and I just created them. And the thing is that I planted this, but look how beautiful it is, and it just adds color. I love these mystery, so I've included a lot of that in my home. And even if you go further, again, this little alley just adds mystery in my home. And the beautiful thing is here I have my lantana. Look at that striking color. And I also have sweet pea, which usually drops. This is the red hibiscus, and you can actually make, it's very healthy, you can make your hibiscus tea. And then again, I have these beautiful lantana. Look at that, those colors, and this is where my bees actually travel to. I can see them. This is where they get their nectar, but look at that, oh, it's beautiful. And as you go along here I have on top there my angel trumpet and my beautiful cacti. And look at that yellow color. Isn't that so amazing? I just love collecting all sorts of different garden accessories. It just makes me feel really nice, because I do feel that artistic side of me actually comes out in the garden. So there is a guy who makes these wind chimes. Look at them. And he makes it out of recycled wine bottles. And then also what I do is I have these beautiful glass sort of bowls, and I stick them in the garden, but it just makes everything a bit more interesting. And I love this, because once it does settle, it has all those lovely designs, and it makes it so much more interesting. Also, the other thing, what I do collect is I have a queen palm, and it does do its dropping. So what I do is I collect the branches of the seeds when they fall, like this one. And I just collect it because I think it's such a beautiful piece. And what I do is I just simply put it in here, and it becomes like a conversation piece. So fellow gardeners, thank you so much for sharing my garden with me. And I hope you get a visual of who Alice is, the red soil gardener. We're always here. I love sharing my garden, and I love to show you how to propagate every single thing I have in my garden, because basically that's how we started, you know, propagating. So fellow gardeners, thank you so much for being part of this channel. And don't forget to like and share and press that notification button. And also subscribe to our channel and invite friends. Don't forget to write to us. We will post some stuff, some pictures on our Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. Also write to me, because I'm always there to answer your comments. And I do like it. It really cheers me up. Thank you so much, and have a lovely day. Bye.